Human digestive system. In general, we used to have varieties of food items in our daily life. Why do we take food? Yes, we take food to get energy for our life activities. How do we take food and how our body can assimilate food? We take food through our mouth, digest it inside our body and assimilate. Hence, it is known as holozoic nutrition. Let us learn about holozoic nutrition in human being. Human being is a complex organization comprising of different varieties of organ systems such as digestive system, respiratory system, circulatory system, nervous system, etc. To take food, digest it and assimilate, we have a definite organ system known as digestive system. This is human digestive system. It comprises of alimentary canal and digestive glands. Alimentary canal is structured at different levels for the process of digestion, as well as the digestive glands secrete different digestive juices to facilitate the process of digestion. Let us know the different parts of digestive system. First of all, the alimentary canal. Alimentary canal starts with the mouth, through which we take the food into our body. Mouth leads to an oral cavity or buccal cavity, which contains muscular tongue, teeth, and the salivary glands. There are three types of salivary glands, such as parotid gland, sublingular, and submandibular glands. The buccal cavity further leads to pharynx, which is a junction of digestive tract and respiratory tract. The digestive tract followed by esophagus, a long tubular structure. It leads into a big sac-like structure known as stomach. The walls of the stomach contains digestive glands, which are known as gastric glands. They secrete the gastric juices. Stomach further leads into small intestine, which comprises of three parts: U-shaped duodenum, highly coiled and long jejunum, and final terminal part known as ileum. The place where the ileum opens into the colon, there is a small structure known as appendix. Small intestine leads to the large intestine, the length of which is comparatively lesser than small intestine. It further leads into the rectum and finally opens out through an anal pore, through which the undigested food is excreted. There are two major glands which prominently seen in this picture are liver and pancreas. They secrete digestive juices which help in process of digestion. This is how human digestive system is structured with different modulations of alimentary canal as well as the digestive glands such as salivary glands, gastric glands, liver, pancreas, and intestinal glands. So with this structural organization, the digestive system takes part in the process of digestion and assimilation of food into our body. Human digestive system part 2. How the food is taken, digested and absorbed. In the last video, we have learnt about the different parts of digestive system. We have also learned that it includes alimentary canal and digestive glands. Now, let us learn how it works and why the food has to be digested. The food which we take contains complex food components such as carbohydrates, proteins, and lipids. These complex substances cannot be directly assimilated into the tissue levels. Hence, they have to be digested. Carbohydrates are digested to form glucose. proteins are digested to form amino acids, whereas lipids are digested to form fatty acids and glycerol. The digestive system functions at 4 stages such as ingestion, digestion, absorption and defecation. When the food is taken into the oral cavity, it is cut and crushed with the teeth, and with the help of tongue, it is mixed with the saliva, which is secreted by salivary glands. Saliva contains an enzyme called amylase or ptyalin. The action of amylase converts carbohydrates into maltose sugars. After completion of this work, the food starts traveling through the pharynx and esophagus to reach the stomach. The food always travels through the alimentary canal by peristaltic movement, which is generated by the movement of or contraction of muscles in the alimentary canal. And now the food enters into the stomach through the sphincter. The churning movement of the stomach grinds the food properly. The stomach walls contain gastric glands which secrete gastric juice containing hydrochloric acid and an enzyme called pepsin. Hydrochloric acid kills the bacteria as well as it creates acidic medium to facilitate the protein digestion. The enzyme action of pepsin converts proteins into peptide chains or peptones. After a period of time, the food enters into the duodenum through the pyloric sphincter. Duodenum receives the secretions from liver and pancreas. Liver secretes bile juice, which does not contain any enzymes, but it contains bile pigments and bile salts. Bile salts convert the medium into alkaline to facilitate the digestion of carbohydrates and lipids, whereas bile pigments help in emulsification of lipids. This facilitates the digestion of lipids. Pancreas secretes pancreatic juice, which contains trypsin, lipase and amylase. Lipase converts lipids to fatty acids and glycerol. Trypsin converts proteins into peptones. And finally, amylase converts carbohydrates into sugars. After completion of this action, the food moves further and reaches the long and highly coiled portion of small intestine, the walls of which contain intestinal glands, which secrete intestinal juices containing several enzymes like peptidases, sucrases, etc. These enzyme action ensures the complete digestion of carbohydrates, proteins and fats. And also the small intestine contains finger-like projections called villi in its inner surface. These are highly entangled with the blood capillaries and lined with a single layer of epithelial cells. Hence, the digested food is easily absorbed into the bloodstream, from which it is supplied to all the body parts. Finally, the undigested food enters into the large intestine. While moving along through the large intestine, the extra amount of water in the food is absorbed back into the body. And finally, the undigested food, which is called as feces, it will travel through the rectum and finally expelled out through the anal pore. This process is known as defecation. Health aspects of alimentary canal. We eat varieties of food in our daily life. Our digestive system is well designed to digest all we eat, but sometimes it rebels and we either feel sick or have indigestion problems. How does it rebel? How do we defend with excess or disadvantaged food? We defend with vomiting. You all might have experienced vomiting, right? When do we feel so and why? Vomiting is the body method of removing unwanted or harmful substances from the stomach. We have already learned that the peristaltic movement in alimentary canal makes the food to move forward. But during vomiting, the peristaltic movement of stomach and esophagus reverse their normal direction and the food is expelled. What are the reasons for vomiting or expelling out the food through the mouth? Overeating. Overeating of food rich in fat content as well as eating undigested or poisonous food. Eating in hurry is also one of the reasons for indigestion. If vomiting is greenish in color, it is bilious or liverish. Whereas, if it is bitter in taste, it is due to rich meals over several days. Maybe it is a defense mechanism to avoid further more problems due to undigested food or poisonous food. It results in bitter experiences for us and makes us sick. Then, how to avoid vomiting or indigestion problems? We have to follow certain food habits to avoid vomiting. They are having simple and balanced meal, eating leisurely and thoroughly masticating, avoiding taking violent exercise after eating, as well as drinking plenty of water and regular bowel movement. All these food habits will make our digestive system and our body healthy. Malnutrition. What if the proper food is not taken? Healthy children can build a healthy nation because healthy mind in a healthy body. Healthy food is the source to maintain the healthy body. It has to contain proper amount of carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals. But most of the children are facing the food related problems either by lacking proper food or by taking high calorie food. What happens if the nutrients are lacking in our diet? Eating food that does not have one or more than one nutrients in the required amount is known as malnutrition. In India, the malnutrition is calculated as 33% in urban areas, 46% in rural areas and 55% in tribal areas. What are the reasons for malnutrition? Especially the poverty and poor health, willful starvation or fasting regularly, lack of awareness of nutritional food habits, as well as socio-economic factors. These are the major reasons for malnutrition. Malnutrition may be of calorie malnutrition, which refers that the diet is lacking calories. Protein malnutrition, which refers that the diet is lacking proteins. And protein calorie malnutrition, which refers that the diet is lacking both proteins and calories. There are several lot of diseases due to malnutrition. Let us learn some of them. Kwashiorkor. This is the disease caused due to the protein deficiency. The symptoms are body parts are swollen due to accumulation of water, poor muscle development, swollen legs and fluffy face, always suffering with diarrhea and dry skin. Marasmus. This is the disease caused due to protein calorie deficiency. It generally occurs in the neglected children when mother gets immediate pregnancy or repeated childbirths. The symptoms are lean and weak, swelling joints in the limbs, less developed muscles, diarrhea, dry skin, or pellagra. This is the disease caused due to the vitamin B3 deficiency. The symptoms are scaly skin sores, weakness, loss of appetite, diarrhea, abdominal pain, and inflamed mucous membrane. Obesity. This is the disease caused due to overeating and excess of calories. It is a big health hazard. The symptoms are increased weight, cannot cope up with proper physical activity, joint pains and feeling tired always. The children with obesity, when grow, they will be the target of many diseases like diabetes, cardiovascular problems, renal and gallbladder problems. This is also caused due to intake of a lot of junk food. Then what is the solution for diseases caused due to the malnutrition? The major solution is to follow the balanced diet. This is the food pyramid showing the balanced diet, in which at the bottom the grains are located which have both calories and proteins and help in proper and normal biological activities and proper growth of the children. The next come vegetables and fruits, followed by milk alternatives as well as meat, fish, egg and alternatives. And finally the fat or oil, salt and sugar have to be consumed very less. And the junk food, cool drinks, etc. have to be completely avoided to maintain proper health and growth in the children. Vitamins, micronutrients. In the last video, you have learnt about the major nutrients required by our body, such as carbohydrates, proteins and lipids. These substances are required for bodybuilding, energy production and for several metabolic activities. The deficiency of these substances will lead to malnutrition. But there are some other micronutrients which are essential to our body, such as vitamins. These are the micronutrients which are required in smaller quantities, but these are the most essential substances required for several lot of metabolic activities. These vitamins are not synthesized in our body. They are either gained by the food which we take, or there are some bacteria in our intestine which synthesize the vitamins. So, the sources of these vitamins are the food and bacteria in our intestine. The vitamins are classified as water soluble and fat soluble vitamins. B complex and vitamin C are the water soluble vitamins. B complex includes several lot of vitamins such as B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, B9, B12, etc. These numbering has been given on the basis of the timeline of their discovery. The next group of vitamins are fat soluble vitamins. The fat soluble vitamins are vitamin A, D, E and K. So in this video, we are going to learn about each vitamin, resources of these vitamins as well as deficiency diseases and symptoms. Let us see one by one. Thiamine. It is indicated as B1 vitamin. The food resources are cereals, oil seeds, vegetables, milk, meat, fish, eggs. The deficiency of this vitamin leads to the disease called beriberi. The symptoms of beriberi are vomiting, fits, loss of appetite, difficulty in breathing and paralysis. Riboflavin. It is indicated as vitamin B2. The food resources of riboflavin are milk, eggs, liver, kidney, vegetables. The deficiency of riboflavin leads to the disease called glossitis, in which the mouth is faced with the ulcers. The symptoms are mouth cracks at the corners, red and sore tongue, photophobia and scaly skin. Niacin. This vitamin is indicated as vitamin B3. The food resources for this vitamin are kidney, liver, meat, fish, eggs, oil seeds. The deficiency of vitamin B3 leads to the disease called pellagra. The symptoms are dermatitis, which refers to the kind of skin disease in which the skin becomes red and scaly. Diarrhea, loss of memory and scaly skin. Pyridoxine. This is indicated as vitamin B6. The feed resources for pyridoxine are cereals, oilseeds, vegetables, milk, meat, fish, eggs, liver. The deficiency of pyridoxine leads to the disease called anemia. The symptoms are hyperirritability, nausea, vomiting, and fits. Cyanocobalamin. This is indicated as vitamin B12. There is a specialty for this vitamin as it is synthesized by the bacteria in the human intestine. The resources, as we have said, the human intestine. The deficiency of this disease leads to pernicious anemia, which is a kind of severe anemic disease. The symptoms are lean, weak, and less appetite. Folic acid. It is indicated as vitamin B9. The food resources are liver, meat, eggs, milk, fruits, cereals, leafy vegetables. The deficiency of folic acid leads to again anemia. The symptoms are diarrhea, weak, loss of leukocytes, intestinal mucus problems. Due to the loss of leukocytes, the children with folic acid deficiency will be affected with several other diseases as they lose the immunity. Pantothenic acid. It is indicated with vitamin B5. The food resources are sweet potato, groundnuts, vegetables, liver, kidney, eggs. The deficiency of pantothenic acid leads to the burning feet. The symptoms are walking problems, headache, extreme tiredness, and strain. Biotin. This is indicated as B7. The food resources are pulses, nuts, vegetables, liver, kidney. The deficiency of biotin leads to nervous disorders. The symptoms are fatigue, mental depression, and muscle pains. Ascorbic acid. This is the vitamin C. The food resources for vitamin C are green leafy vegetables and citrus fruits. Sprouts. The deficiency of ascorbic acid leads to the disease called scurvy, in which there is delay in healing of wounds, fractures of bones, gum diseases, bleeding from the skin as well as the gums. Retinol. This is in other words known as vitamin A. The food resources are green leafy vegetables, carrot, tomato, pumpkin, papaya, mango, meat, fish, eggs, liver, milk, cod liver oil, shark liver oil. The deficiency of retinol leads to eye and skin diseases like night blindness, xerophthalmia, cornea failure, scaly skin, and several other eye and skin diseases. Sometimes the deficiency of vitamin A leads to the blindness. Hence, the government supplies the vitamin A syrup to the children below the age of 5 years at regular intervals. Calciferol. In other words, it is known as vitamin D. The food resources are liver, eggs, butter, cod liver oil, and shark liver oil. The deficiency of vitamin D leads to the disease called rickets, in which the children will face a lot of problems with the bones. The symptoms are improper formation of bones, knock knees, which is shown in the picture, swollen wrist, delayed dentition, weak bones. Tocopherol. This is indicated as vitamin E. The food resources are fruits, vegetables, sprouts, meat, eggs, sunflower oil. The deficiency of tocopherol leads to fertility disorders, in which there is sterility in males and abortions in females. Phylloquinone, which is referred as vitamin K. The food resources are green leafy vegetables, milk. The deficiency of this disease leads to the delay of blood clotting. The symptoms are delay in blood clotting and overbleeding.
చెప్పవే విటమిన్లు నువ్వు లేకుంటేను చెప్పవే విటమిన్లు నువ్వు లేకుంటేను ఏమేమి వ్యాధులు వస్తాయో ఎన్నెన్ని రోగాలు వస్తాయో ఏమేమి వ్యాధులు వస్తాయో ఎన్నెన్ని రోగాలు వస్తాయో తయమిన్ లేకుంటే బెరి బెరి వస్తుంది వాంతులతో కూడి మూర్ఛరోగం వస్తుంది ఆకలి చచ్చిపోతుంది హో శ్వాసక్రియ కష్టమవుతుంది ఓ రైబోఫ్లేవిన్ లేకుంటే గ్లాసైటిస్ వస్తుంది నోటి మూలాలన్నీ పగిలిపోయి నాలుక మొత్తం మండిపోయి కాంతి కిరణాలంటే భయమే వేసి పులుసుల చర్మం తేలుతుంది అమ్మమ్మో విటమిన్ లేకుంటే హో ఆరోగ్యం లోపభూయిష్టం అమ్మమ్మో విటమిన్ లేకుంటే హో ఆరోగ్యం లోపభూయిష్టం చెప్పవే విటమిన్ను నువ్వు లేకుంటేను ఏమేమి వ్యాధులు వస్తాయో ఎన్నెన్ని రోగాలు వస్తాయో నియాసిన్ లేకుంటే పెల్లగ్రామ్ రోగిని పొడి బారిన చర్మం డెర్మటైటిస్ కర్మిని పైరిడాక్సిన్ లోపిస్తేను రక్తహీనం ఫలితమోను వందే అరికాళ్ళతో తంటే ప్యాంటో తని క్లీనట్టే నరనరాల్లో బలహీనత బయోటిన్ లోపించినట్టే తీవ్రమైన రక్తహీనత సైనకో బలమిన్ లేనట్టే శరీరమే కుళ్ళిపోతుంది రోగాలకు నిలయమవుతుంది శరీరమే కుళ్ళిపోతుంది రోగాలకు నిలయమవుతుంది చెప్పవే విటమిన్ను నువ్వు లేకుంటేను ఏమేమి వ్యాధులు వస్తాయో ఎన్నెన్ని రోగాలు వస్తాయో ఏమేమి వ్యాధులు వస్తాయో ఎన్నెన్ని రోగాలు వస్తాయో రెటినా లోపంతో లోకమంత చీకట్లే కాల్సిఫెరాల్ తో రికెట్స్ లేనట్టే అస్కరిక్ ఆమ్లం లోపిస్తే స్కర్వితోటి పెద్ద కుస్తీనే ఫైలోక్వినోన్ లేకుంటే రక్తం దారగా ప్రవహించే ఫోలిక్ యాసిడ్ లోపిస్తేను దేహమంతా బలహీనమౌను టోకోఫెరాల్ లోపిస్తేను వంశోద్ధారం లేనట్టేను అమ్మమ్మో విటమిన్లో ఎమ్మో జీవనొక కిందనమో యమ్మో అమ్మమ్మో విటమిన్లు యమ్మో జీవనొక కిందనమో యమ్మో చెప్పవే విటమిన్ను నువ్వు లేకుంటేను ఏమేమి వ్యాధులు వస్తాయో ఎన్నెన్ని రోగాలు వస్తాయో ఏమేమి వ్యాధులు వస్తాయో ఎన్నెన్ని రోగాలు